Welcome back, mate. Obviously, some happy memories here from last year. What's it like to get back to Tassie?
Yeah, fantastic. I was actually here last week for their girls' training as well, and but to get the group back here is exciting. The differences are quite stark, actually. I think last year I felt as though we were just dipping the toe in the water, but this year we actually feel like we belong here, which is really important to us. It's part of our mantra, and it really does feel like home.
You mentioned the training and coming down. How's all that working? Because you have got a lot of Tasmanians on your list now, I guess. How are you juggling that? Is it a challenge as a coach?
It's a challenge from the perspective that you want to make sure that you're doing justice to both areas. But I think the program's so well set up that it allows us to either be together here or up in Melbourne every 2 weeks. And that's really good. And then on the odd week, I flew down last week, and then Reece Harwood, our list manager, came down this week, so we kind of juggle it that way. Then anything to do with meetings or anything, we use technology to dial in and do it that way, and it seems to work very well.
So when you say it's sort of every 2 weeks you catch up as a whole group, is that for over a few days or just one training session?
It depends what's going on. So the way it will work initially was our first training session, and then obviously the camp here, and then at Christmas, and then we straight after Christmas we were into practice matches, so the group will be together then as well, and then you really hit the season, so it's not a lot of time to muck around, and I think that's in some ways that's good, but in other ways it can be a challenge that you want to make sure you get the learning done. But the program, as I said, it's so well set up that it's structured that the game plan's not too difficult, and just let the girls play footy, which is a big part of my philosophy.
How are the Tassie girls progressing in terms of being up to where you want them to be?
Really well. I was surprised last week at training that because the numbers can be a little bit of an issue. You haven't got the numbers that you've got up in Melbourne, but we've got a core group of train-ons with the girls, and the 15 to 18 girls that are training, the ones that aren't AFLW girls, I was so surprised at the skill level, just being able to hit targets by foot. It's so pleasing to see that another 2 or 3 years' time, they're going to be pushing. Sorry, Emma, but they're going to be pushing the older girls for a spot on the team, and it's exactly what you want as a coach. That you're not having to manufacture drills to suit the level, and I think anyone who gets the chance, you should have a look at the under 18 girls, both in Tasmania up and in Victoria, because the standard has improved out of sight.
So would you say that there'll be a reasonable chunk of the Tassie contingent pushing for a spot in the home game?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, we don't do teams yet, but obviously I think about it probably 24/7. But I can't see any reason why any of them wouldn't be pushing for round ones, which is so pleasing from my perspective.
Okay. How do you enjoy playing at UTAS?
Yeah, I enjoy UTAS. As a coach, it's great because the coaches' boxes are really good. Em can probably speak about the surface, but I think the big thing for me with Launceston is that you get to play on a stadium that allows the girls to play open and free footy. It's a very hard ground to shut a football side down. And I know a lot of people complain and say that it's too big for girls footy, but I actually think for us it suits us. So the sides that can cut through and damage by foot, you should get a good spectacle. And I reckon playing Adelaide up at UTAS is going to be very interesting, because I think it'll be a high class game. So really expecting a big crowd there, and I think it'll be a very good standard game of footy.
You had a really strong team last year, but you would have been disappointed with the way the season wrapped up. Has that sort of burned over the winter months for you?
It has. I think for me, from my perspective, to finish on a game against Fremantle in round 7 that just wasn't our brand of footy hurt more than getting beaten by just them being a good side. And they were a terrific side that day. They played really good footy, but also we let ourselves down the way we played, and that goes for some moves that we made in the coach's box right down to the playing group. So we all owned that. We've sat on that, and it burns inside you that you just want to get out there and make amends. And we'll get that chance in February from round 1. And as we've learned from last year, you just can't muck up any week in such a short season. All 8 games are really important. So we just have to be mentally fresh enough, physically ready to take on whatever comes in round 1 with Melbourne at Casey, and then push on through the rounds.
Do you think you've got the personnel that can contend for a premiership?
I'd like to think so. I think any coach worth his salt looks at your list and thinks they're all good players, all 30 of them, but I genuinely believe that we're in a good position to push, and our goal is to make finals and then see what happens from there. And yep, you need a bit of luck with injuries and conditions and all sorts of things go your way. But yeah, Reece Harbour did a really good job with building the list, and I'm pretty proud of the way the list is started training, and yeah, I think we're in contention.
Just on a couple of the draftees, mate, from Tassie, Ellie, first of all, Gowans. Yeah, we didn't know heaps about her, I guess, from a football point of view. What was attractive about her getting into the club?
She's a Tasmanian girl. She's a bit dark in there because she didn't get mentioned as a Tasmanian, but she actually is a Tasmanian girl. Her parents live here. Her dad just gave us a toot on the way past in the truck on the way to work, which was nice. But Ellie's a type of footballer that we thought we needed inside the contest, and very good with the hands and loves to take the game on. I'm really big on players. I don't mind players making mistakes if they're taking the game on, because it just means that it gets the ball going our way. And she'll be able to feed the ball out to Emma Kearney and the like. And I reckon we'll get some good scoring opportunities from what she'll do inside.
Abby Green provides a ruck option for you, I guess, and that will free up a number of other players to move forward. Is that the plan? Or?
Yeah, Abby and Emma King will work closely together with Kate Gillespie-Jones as well, and it'll give us a trio. I'm really big on versatility, and I felt towards the end of last season we perhaps, as we got a few injuries, our versatility was that we'd take a taller player and play them in a position that perhaps wasn't suited. Emma King, as we all know, did really well up forward for us as well, so I thought that was a positive. So I'd like to have the flexibility that all three of them can rotate through the ruck and up forward at times, and just make it harder for opposition to play against us from a match-up perspective.
And Mia King, is she someone that could debut in round one, do you think?
Well, Mia King's a classic example of what I was saying before. I've watched Mia play for the last 3 years now, and she has improved out of sight, and I think she's well in contention for round one, and just the way that she is around the group as well. Her off-field stuff's fantastic, and on-field she'll just be that, similar to Ellie Gowans, she'll be the inside mid, potentially up forward as well, but she just needs time to develop, and you can't really develop the pressure of an AFLW game until they're in it, and that'll be the big test in the practice matches to see how she goes with that, and then hopefully she gets through that well enough that myself and the team reckon that she can play.
What about someone like a Britt Gibson? I guess a few years in the system now, do you expect her just to keep evolving as each year goes on, I suppose?
Yeah, I do. She's really fit at the moment, firing, and Gibbo's one of those people that she's almost a player that you don't get her to turn up until about February 1 and just say, just play, mate. She's that type of person, and she's just I know Emma will probably speak more than I can about it, but I just think that those type of people, you just want them on your team. You want to be able to, they're infectious the way they play, and Gibbo will probably find herself up forward a little bit more this year as well. And she can do some damage down back, go up forward and kick a goal for us would be a really great result.
Emma, being from Melbourne, I suppose, what does the Tasmanian partnership mean to someone like you, I guess? Can you explain it for us?
Yeah, for me, I'm really passionate about growing the game, and I think it's a really important piece in growing the game in Tasmania, and we've already seen the impact that just having a female team has had on Tasmanian football, particularly in the girls' space. The growth is outstanding, and the more people that can see these role models coming through and can see a pathway for them to come through is something that's really special.
Two big games here this year, I guess, against two powerful teams. Adelaide obviously won't have Chelsea anymore. Is Erin going to be back, do you think? And how much challenge is that going to provide you?
Yeah, Erin's a superstar. She's so elite with her rehab and everything. So, we're anticipating that she'll be back. And Adelaide, they're a quality side even without those two in their side. So it's going to be a good test for us. We love playing at North Hobart Oval. Our Tassie girls are based down there, so they'll know the Oval really well, and we'll be really confident going into that game. And against GWS, as Scott mentioned, it's a huge ground at UTAS Oval, which probably suits our kicking game, and we've added a bit of speed into our side as well this year, which will benefit that size of the ground and give those girls a bit of space to run.
What are your memories of that game at North Hobart last year? If you probably wouldn't have seen the crowds lining up to get in and everything, you would have seen it post-game, but do you remember it well and the atmosphere that was created?
Yeah, it's the memory sort of fades a little bit just because it happened so quickly, but I guess I remember Britt Gibson in tears before the game. She's not overly emotional, but she was she's been a passionate North supporter her whole life, and then to be playing in her home state was something really special for her. And I think the support that we had during that game from the Hobart locals was outstanding, and I remember just soaking up the atmosphere, and it was it was awesome.
Just one more thing. Team was pretty dominant last year. Do you think you could replicate that domination this year?
Yeah, I think we've added some really quality players to our list, and someone like Sarah Wright and Ali has been a bit more mature age recruits will help our young list. Just more mature bodies, just sort of more life experience, which will help our younger girls. But also, I think just the experience that so we had half of our list not play AFL last year, and so that was our first experience of it. So them having that experience and knowing what it takes to play at that high level and getting used to that intensity will benefit us massively. As Scott mentioned, it's about having a little bit of luck, and hopefully we stay pretty fit and injury free. But if we can do that, I'm really confident that we can push for finals.